Hey everyone, so in this video we will see what are the patch and submit form function in PowerApps. So both these functions are used to add the data or modify the data in our data source. So data source can be a SharePoint list or Dataverse or SQL, but there are a difference in between these two functions like patch and submit form. So submit form we can use if you have the data which is very straightforward, that doesn't need any user interaction, it just adding or updating entities in a straightforward manner. But if you're using a patch, then it will give a lot of flexibility to play around with some controls. Then it is more suitable for the complex data types, and it is more suitable if you have the multiple screens. So let's say you have a form that has a 20 to 30 fields, but in PowerApps you cannot put all these fields in a single screen, so it will give a bad user experience also. So what you can do, you can split the screen. So if you have the like in the forms as well, we have the screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. So in that case you can use the patch function. So we are going to take a look at both functions and how they are going to work and what are their formulas. So for this example, I have taken the project detail list. So almost I have taken all column types like single line of text, multiple line, choices. Choices have the single and multi select. People picker as well, I have taken as a single and multi select. Then I have taken one hyperlink column, which is the Teams channel link. Then I have taken a lookup column and a yes no column, that is active. So for the lookup column, it's just a simple like project team. For that I have created one another list that has the project team, and I am going to look up this with this field. So this is really straightforward form. I did not mark any field as a required, as you can see. So this thing we are going to integrate with Power Apps. So first, to connect with that SharePoint list, you have to go to data source. Then we have to search for a SharePoint. So in the connector session, we have explored this, like what are the connectors and how we can connect to different data sources in the Power Apps. So first it will ask me to select the SharePoint site, then it will ask me to select the list. So generally we have two lists. So the first one is project team and project detail, but we are going to modify in only project detail. So I'm only going to select the project detail list. I'm not going to select project team. Then I'm going to select project details. Now we have added the project detail list in our Power Apps. Now we need to make controls. So we are not going to do it manually like selecting, inserting one by one control for date, for text. We are going to use the form control for that. So I'm just going to use form. For the form control, we need the data source, that is our project detail list. As you can see, the fields have been auto populated here. I'm just going to increase this and we'll make a column to 2. So you can see there are basic fields: project name, project description, pricing. We have single choices. For project type, I have multi choices. Is active is my toggle field. Project manager will be my people picker. Project team will be my lookup column. Also, if you want to add more fields, you can click on fields. You can add more fields. So here I have the fields called developers. I don't want title and all these are the out of the box columns. So I just want developers only. Okay. So you can see in my project details. So here is my project manager, which is a people picker and it's a single select, and developers is my multi select. So here if I select the form control, you can see the default mode is edit. I'm going to set default mode as new. You can make this default mode in dynamic, but we can see in upcoming topics, but our main focus is on submit form and patch function. I am going to take one button to save this form. If I going to play this, you can see I have the project name, project description, pricing, this custom field, project manager. So here, as you can see, there's a number displaying. If you got the same error, you just have to click on this data card, go to fields, and you have to add a field that is called display name. I think for developer also I'm getting same error. Okay, then just go to fields, you add the display name. So you can see this will appear here. So currently I have only one user service account added, so that's why it's going to display only one. Okay. So first we will see submit form. So this is really straightforward. So this is my form, and I'm just going to rename it to FRM project detail. On click of save, I'm just need to write submit form and the form name function. That's it. This is the single line we have to write, and it will submit the form in the SharePoint list. So let's try it out. I'm going to add a project name called Q&A app development. Project description will be Q&A app PowerApps. Project type will be, let's say, PowerApps and SharePoint. Pricing will be fixed. Project is active, yes. Project manager will be service account. Project team, let's say SharePoint or D365. Teams channel link, this is my hyperlink. So here I will just add the PowerApps link. So remember that in hyperlink column you have to add the HTTPS or HTTP here. If you just write make www.google.com, it will not work. It requires the HTTPS format. When you submit the form, it will give an error, but if you want to display more customized message, you can validate this field using the regular expressions. So this is a lot of complex topic that we are not covering in this session. Then developers, I will going to select service account. If I'm going to click on save, you can see the loader at the top has been completed and no item display. I'm going to explain is why this is displaying this one. So first I will go to our list, refresh it to check it if data is appearing or not. So as you can see, the data is appearing, like multiple select is also working, teams channeling, the hyperlink we got is active is checked. Now why there is a no item to display? Because when we submit the form, it will reset, like it is not resetting the form actually, right? So what I have to do, after form submission we have to reset the form. Then we have the function called reset form. So again what I will do, I will click on this form, change the display mode to new again. Say I'm going to write a project name like intranet development. Project description will be SharePoint intranet. Project type is SharePoint. Pricing will be fixed. Project manager will be, let's say, service account. Project team will be teams channel link. I don't want to give, let's say, developers will be this one. So once I save it, it will add the entry, and as you can see, it will submit the form first and then it will reset the form to the default new mode. So we are no longer seeing that no item to display data here. So if you are new or doing first time, you might see this error. So don't get scared, it's just simple, we have to reset the form once the submission is done. So this is the submit form. So now submit form is really good for if you are just adding the data, you are not customizing the data, or you are not making any updates in the fields manually. So the submit form is the best for you. Again, now we have the patch function. So in patch we have to write actual code for it, like for every field and every column we need to patch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename all these data card fields. As you can see, it is displaying the default number. To make it more readable, I'm just going to quickly rename these fields. Okay, so I have renamed all the fields. So I will definitely recommend, if you building a form, you rename all the labels or the buttons you are using inside your form. So let's say this is the button, so make it more readable, like button save project. So this is beneficial for you and for other developers as well. If there are multiple developers, or if you hand over this project to another developer, so it will be beneficial for them also to understand. So yeah, the I have renamed all the fields. To write a formula, I am going to write it on the on select. I am going to delete this formula. So here the function is patch. The first parameter we need to pass is the data source, like where we are adding these details, project details. Then we have the second parameter, like if you are creating a new record or we are updating the existing one. So we are creating new record, that's why we are going to use the defaults, and then project details, and then we have to pass all the columns. So let's say I have project name. So these are the columns are from the SharePoint, and we give colon, and then we are going to pass the project name as text project name dot value. So here, if you are using the old version or you are not using any modern control, you are going to use it as a dot text, but in modern control it's going to display you as a value. Then we have project description. For similarly, we have the field that is project description dot value. Then we have the project type. The project type, for this I have used the drop down. It is combo box actually, but I have renamed all the control as the drop down. Okay, so it's giving error, so might be we have the value in this way. Okay, we'll figure what the error is. Then I'm just going to comment this one, and then what we have after project type, we have the is active. So for this I have the toggle active dot checked. So it will return true or false. If it is checked, then it will, if it is true, then it will check the box in our SharePoint list. Then we have project manager. So this is my single field, so drp project manager dot selected, and then we have project team, which is our multi-select field. So for this also I am going to explain, because the error, what was the error in the project type, I am going to explain you. Then project type, we then I think we have done with all columns. Okay, the project team and teams channel link. Project team is done, and we are going to teams channel link. So for this, what we have, link teams channel link dot value. Okay, so as you can see, the project type and project team, these are the multi-select field. So project type, you can see here we are storing the multiple values, but here what we did, we are passing only single, so you have to pass a record instead of one single value. So here the syntax is a little bit different. So for the project type, what you want to do, for all, and you have to give the control name drp project type dot selected items, and then we are going to pass their value in that list. So it will be this record dot value. Okay, so I'm going to explain. So what we are doing, for all, that means for all the selections in the project type, so whatever values we select in project type drop down, we are going to pass everything in our SharePoint list. So this is the syntax if you are using multi select. Similarly for project team as well, we are going to use multi select. So we can just simply write drp developers dot selected items, if it works or not. So it's a people picker field, it is not working. So what we are going to do, similarly drp project developers, and while passing to people picker, we have some predefined schema that we need to pass in the SharePoint list. So if we are go to Google and people picker patch schema in PowerApps, so we have to pass display name, then we have to pass id, claims, all these things. So this one, like this one, I'm just going to copy it, go to PowerApps and paste it here. So here I just need to change the data card to my drp developers. Okay, there is still error, let me check for all drp developers. So let's see if you have the multiple select checked. Okay, okay, so the earlier what I was doing is, we have the column called project team, which is a lookup field, but I thought it was a multi select developer field. So this is a lookup field. So for the lookup field, we have the different format, we have to pass it as an object, and here in the lookup column every item has a id associated with its original list and its value. So we have to pass id and we have to pass value. Then here we have drp project team dot selected dot, we have id, and same I am going to copy this, and then we have value. So the project team is done. Then at the end we have the developers. So for developers, it is a multi select, so we are going to use a for all. Then we have the drp developers dot selected items, and then we are going to pass the record. So I will just select the schema again, I will enter it here. So here I have this record dot claims. Then for the display name, I have this record dot display name. And for email, I have this record dot email. Then we'll put a comma. I will format this, so as you can see there is no error now. Now we will check if the form is working. Also what I will do, I will just add a notification at the end, notify like project added. and the notification type will be success. So the best way to do is like, even though your error even though there is an error after submission, it will going to show the notify. So the best way is use the if error function or is error function. But currently we are just patching this in simple way. We will just check it once. Project name will be my project number 1. Project description is this is for testing. Project tile will be SharePoint Power Apps. Pricing will be fixed. Project manager. Here is my Teams meeting link. Teams channel link, sorry. Project team will be mobile, and developers will be my service account only. So I will click on save. So there is an error. We can see network of it, the requested operation is invalid. So we will check what is the error. So if we go here, that is not displaying properly, right? So to see those errors, we have the functions, or the we can call feature in our Power Apps, that is our monitor. So on the left side you have the monitor. So I generally use this a lot if I get any errors in a development. So it will started a monitor session, and now what I'm going to do, I'm just go to this formula. I will just delete and paste this formula again, and let's say I will save it. So I got the error. In the monitor mode you can see there is a error called bad request in the project rules. So I will see the detail. So you can see the formula is our, this is our request, and what a response we got. Let's say the specified user service account could not be found. As you can see, I think the service account, there is an issue with the service account user. So what I will just do, I will not pass these people picker fields. So let's say I will remove the developers, but yeah, the syntax will be same if you are using people picker field, and I will remove project manager as well. Now I will check it. So you can see the project has been added. If you go to monitor mode, there is a create row that says success. So I will definitely recommend that you use a monitor mode while you are testing it, because if you get the error like network error in patch, it will not show you anything. So the best way is to start a monitor mode and check the results. So it is depend on every action we take in here. So let's say you can clear the data, you can start a new session. I will go to this. Let's say I, I will make the Teams channel link just this URL. I will click on save. Let's say it is saving or not. So you can see there is an error. We go to monitor mode. There is a error in create row. We go to response. We'll check. So you can see the invalid URL make.powerapps.com. As I explained earlier, it requires HTTP or HTTPS. So I will just correct this HTTPS. I will click on save. The project has been added. So this is the basic difference in patch and submit form. So in patch you have a lot of flexibility, but in submit form you just have to write a single line, and it is very best suitable for if you have the small forms. So yeah, this is the basic difference. So if you have any doubts or questions, you can let me know. Thank you.